Morning everyone, welcome to the latest Chelsea news video here on the channel with me, Chels Daft. And it's a bumper edition this morning, focusing on the Premier League, the table itself, Timo Werner, Callum HudsonOdoi and transfer deadline day. Chelsea won, Tottenham lost at the weekend. What more can you ask for? Let's get cracking. So Chelsea took a great 3 points against Burnley in a thoroughly dominant performance yesterday. The only surprise, as we've said in the match review, and plenty of people have said on social media, would you have had on your scorecards Cesar Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso as the goal scorers? Possibly not. But we got the job done, got two good goals, two outstanding goals, and we move ourselves up to 7th in the Premier League. The big losers, Tottenham and Everton. This weekend, we're now level on points with Tottenham, who are 6th. We're 7th on goal difference. And Everton, we're level on points with them as well. A much better goal difference than they've got. We're 2 points behind West Ham, currently in 5th. We're 6 points behind Leicester, who are currently in 4th. Things don't look as bad as they did a couple of weeks ago. So let's get on to Timo Werner. And Timo's struggles continue. The guy is... You have to commend him for the fact that he keeps going and getting into positions. At times, if you watch the games, he's been ignored. He's making these runs and he's not getting the balls played through to him. And when they finally do, someone comes in front of him, like a run yesterday from Pulisic, took the ball off of his foot. You know, it's not going from at the moment. But the way we're playing now under Thomas Tuchel, the attacking mentality that we've got, the goals are going to come, and I don't think there's any real concern over Timo Werner. It's interesting the fact that Thomas Tuchel has now had a look at all three strikers. Olivier Giroud predominantly against Wolves. Tammy started yesterday against Burnley, come off at half-time after a disappointing, frustrating performance for him. And obviously Timo started off on the left in the game yesterday, was on the bench against Wolves, come on, and then yesterday as Tammy come off, replaced by Christian Pulisic, Timo was through the middle. Tuchel himself has been talking about Werner and he said he's totally into it. He gives everything. You can see, like every striker in the world, the guys are sensitive and nothing helps better than to score goals. If they miss the goals for a certain time, it isn't the same for them. It's not so special to Timo. It happens to every striker in the world. As long as he has impact, works like he worked today, we'll support him. We missed some chances to use him in counter-attacks with his big strength and his pure speed. We need to improve to bring him into situations to be decisive for us. He was confident to play, but that is something you cannot demand. You either have it or you don't. But it's no problem. Maybe he just needs to find an easy goal to bring up the last percent. And that's key what Thomas Tuchel has said. First of all, he's acknowledged the fact that at times Timo is not getting that ball played through to him for whatever reason. Maybe it's going wide instead. But also the fact that he's commending his work rate. The guys, when he misses a chance, or like yesterday, first half, Callum put a great ball to him and he shot off his right foot against his left leg. And it was just, that's how his luck's going at the moment. But it's the fact that for that split second after that happens, his head sort of goes and you can see he's really frustrated. But then he just gets on with it and he carries on going. And if he keeps working hard and making these runs, I mean, think of the late in the game yesterday with Christian Pulisic, spotted Timo in between the defenders, tried to curl a ball around to him with the outside of his right foot, couldn't connect properly and the ball went dead straight and too close to Pope. Timo had no chance to get there. If the ball was right, Timo was in. So the guy is going to score a bundle of goals for us. He's going for a rough patch. His head sort of, you just see the frustration in him when these things happen instantly. But then he sort of collects himself, gets himself together, and then he goes again. And that's got to be commended. And as I say, the goals will come. And hopefully against Tottenham on Thursday. So the biggest beneficiary so far from Thomas Tuchel taking over is Callum HudsonOdoi, without question. Obviously, people are going to mention Jorginho, Kovacic, Tony Rudiger. But if you think about the influence that Thomas Tuchel's had on one player in particular, Callum HudsonOdoi stands out. The focus of Chelsea's attacks yesterday, 41% of our attacks yesterday was down the right-hand side with Callum HudsonOdoi for 72 minutes, terrorising Burnley and Robbie Brady in particular, who was designated to try and look after him. And there's quite a funny story on the Athletic an exchange between Sean Dyche, the Burnley manager, and Robbie Brady, and it's the 69th minute. Callum had just gone down the right-hand side away from Robbie Brady and put a cross into the box, which Ben Mee nearly deflected into his own goal, but for a great save and a palm away by Nick Pope. Following that particular incident, as the play moved forward up the pitch, Sean Dyche had said to Robbie Brady, Robbie, tune in. And his reply is brilliant. His reply is, I know where he is, I just can't stop him. What do you want me to do? And that pretty much tells you exactly the impact that Callum HudsonOdoi is having. Now, I've been saying on my channel for a while that Callum needs to be more consistent for longer periods in games. Where we've seen him start games, he has these fleeting moments, or he has moments where he'll get past someone and put a good cross in, or get an assist. But the overall sort of consistent impact throughout a longer period in a game needed to improve. And you have to say, he's been the man of the match above and beyond anybody else. You have to say that for the last two games. And Thomas Tuchel's decision to move him to wing-back reminds me very much of Victor Moses in the Antonio Conte era. If you remember, Conte switched to a back three with Cesar Azpi on the right of the defensive three. He's done the same again this time around, Tuchel, and he's pretty much working the same with Azpi and Callum HudsonOdoi as Azpi and Victor Moses did in that title-winning season. Callum's influence is excellent, and what's very noticeable as well, his desire when the ball goes, like if he puts a cross in that's not converted, or there's a run and they clear the ball away, and it goes off for a goal kick. His instinct now, Callum, is to get straight back into position, and that's great to see. So good to see. And he's got to be loving it at the moment. He's heavily involved. As I say, 41% of our attacks yesterday was focused down the right-hand side, and he was heavily involved in that first goal. Great movement from Chelsea. As I said in my match review, the first time Burnley committed everybody to press in our half, and we opened them up with a ball from Jorginho to Mason Mount, who had absolutely acres of space, and Mount played fantastically yesterday. He spots Callum, and Callum, who earlier in the first half had made a run across the box onto his left foot and had a shot, which was deflected. He made the same movement again, which the Burnley defenders thought. Here we go, he's lining up for a shot on his left foot, and he flicks the ball outside of him to the 60-yard run of Cesar Azpi, who needs to be drugs tested, and Azpi scores. Great goal. So Callum was a massive influence, and I just thought that the stats showing that 41% was down that right-hand side, the conversation between Sean Dyche and Robbie Brady just says it all with the impact that Callum's had at the moment. And it's outstanding. It is absolutely outstanding. The only concern that we've probably got at the moment, and no disrespect to Wolves, no disrespect to Burnley. Wolves and Burnley, not exactly in the best form. Wolves are currently 14th, Burnley are currently 16th. It's the bigger games which has been the concern for Chelsea this season, where we're trying to get results against the so-called top 4, top 6 rivals. It's these bigger games where you're playing against teams that are going to line up with 3 up front, the likes of your Tottenhams, the likes of your Man Cities, your Liverpools, to a point Man United as well. Those are the games where if you're going to play 3 centre-backs and they're pushing 3 up front, you're going to be expecting the likes of Callum HudsonOdoi to work and track back defensively. And with the way those teams play, you can just see Callum not having as much opportunity to get forward. Hopefully he does, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And if the manager decides to go for Reece James rather than Callum in those big games where you're probably not going to dominate possession of the football. Speaking of Callum, yesterday, Thomas Tuchel again was asked, why did you implement Callum as a right wing-back? And why not? Of course, we knew him. There were big rumours around him and Bayern Munich. But we knew before, if you're interested in football, upcoming players, he was in the focus way before I ever thought about being his manager. He can have his input on the line. He has the ability to be decisive with his runs, his speed, and at the moment we've opted for this structure. That's key, meaning that he is flexible to change. He can play in half positions offensively. This is clear, and we wanted to take the chance against Wolves, so we went with Chile and him. Today it was Marcos and him. He had another good game. If we can improve the precision of our guys in the box, then maybe we can score more goals. So the message is pretty clear. This guy's got a massive reputation in Europe, maybe something that Chelsea fans take for granted. We all know the talent, the potential that Hudson-Odoi's got, and it's good to see that he's beginning to show it in this particular role. But again, big games, will he be adopted in that way? Will he be played in that way? Hopefully so, because I tell you what, when the guy's playing as he is with confidence, he's unplayable at times. And yesterday, there was just a moment yesterday where he picked up the ball just inside our half, out on that right wing. And I think Brady or whoever it was went in to challenge him to win the ball high in our half. And he just skipped past him, just lifted the ball over the challenge, skipped past him and he was away. The guy has got unbelievable potential and he could be a world beater. And it's just, we just need to take stock of everything, just calm ourselves down a little bit. But at the moment, it's exciting to see Callum Hudson-Odoi finally delivering on the potential that we all knew he had. So finally, it's transfer deadline day, and I wonder if there's going to be any activity as far as Chelsea are concerned. Incomings, you can't really imagine that a deal is going to be done now. We've had the whole window to move. Thomas Tuchel's been in charge for a week now, and obviously if he spots a gap in the squad, you would imagine that the board would have reacted by now. So I can't really see anybody coming in. It's players who potentially could leave, which will be the focus today, and the focus of the Sky Sports News deadline day coverage. 3 players in particular, but one of them made such an impact yesterday in the game, I don't think they're going to go anywhere, and that's Marcos Alonso. What a great goal that was. He always pops up with these goals, important goals, but the way he took his goal was just fantastic yesterday. I've always said his ability with the ball at his feet is just brilliant, absolutely fantastic. It's the defensive side of his game. Utilised as a wing back with Rudiger on that left-hand side covering. Alonso hasn't got that much of a defensive responsibility. Yes, he still needs to get in place and do his role, but it's what he offers going forward. And I think push comes to shove, you could see Emerson go today. I'd be surprised if he does, because Tuchel's talking about the fact he's got 22 players. Olivier Giroud's another one that could potentially go, but I can't see that happening. I think that he'll be sort of reinvigorated and galvanised at the fact there's new management in place. And if anything, based on Tammy's performance, knowing that he's not really that striker that can hold the ball up yet at the moment, he needs to be more physical. Giroud should be ahead of him, let's be honest, when it comes to selecting a team. If you're playing the big games, you need the link man up front. So Giroud will probably stay. One player that could potentially go and maybe could even force a move is Billy Gilmour. Gilmour, and the comments made by Tuchel in his press conference was interesting. When he said, we need to check on the physicality of Billy Gilmour and how if he can cope with the Premier League, playing week in, week out. I think that was a big statement to make from Thomas Tuchel. I'm not sure he thinks he's ready, and I think it could be an opportunity for Gilmour to go. Where he's going to go, we don't know. There's the likes of West Ham. There's the likes of Rangers in Scotland eyeing him as well. We have to wait and see. But if there's anybody that's going to leave today, it'd be Gilmour. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea hold on to him. Let's just see how the day pans out, and let's just see what happens. So Chelsea fans, that's it from me this morning on this Chelsea News update video. Stay tuned for a Chelsea video later on this evening as well, as we look to try and make these days double uploads. Have a good Monday. Let me know what you think about anything discussed and any of the stories in the video in the comment section. Drop a like on the video for me. Subscribe to the channel. Have a good Monday. See you next time.